Hi friends, this is Mangla Pratap and Muralidharan talking from India. Today I'm going to talk to you about various techniques of teaching vocabulary for students. Students may find it so easy to learn vocabulary from their friends. They also find it quite convenient to consult electronic dictionaries these days. And you find most of these electronic dictionaries are going to be highly useful in terms of identifying the right meaning and giving them the category of word. For example, if it's a noun or a verb or an adverb or adjective or a preposition or a conjunction or an interjection, you can easily identify it. Number one. Number two, you can also check various layers of meaning there. Number three, you can have multiple examples for the same category given there. In addition, you do have one line thesaurus available, so they can check thesaurus. There are a lot of dictionary apps which do support you in terms of distinguishing the American accent from the British accent, and you can find samples of pronunciation, the voice samples of pronunciation given to you, so that supports you in a big way. So you can learn by listening to the American pronunciation, or you can also listen to the British pronunciation and get to know exactly where the stress is. And this is going to support us in a big way when we teach students. It makes the class quite interesting because they do listen to it very carefully. And you can ask them to pronounce it. You can help them to record their own voice and then see how they listen, how they pronounce. And you could check both their listening and pronunciation. And in addition to all these, today you have varieties of dictionaries available. So you can have idioms there, you can look at phrases there. You may also look at the thesaurus and identify a series of related words. And the examples of these related words could be written on board, or you can ask them to make note of it. Besides all these, you have dictionary of collocations available. So they can also check the dictionary of collocations, right? And most of these learners try to learn things from their fellow learners or from the teachers or from various texts. They pick up new words from whatever text they read. It could be from a journal or a book or an article or even an advertisement. And they could also, identify new words from their conversations which they listen to. They could listen to varieties of speaking texts from, television channels, podcasts, or newsrooms, or websites, or other web learning portals, or web portals, etc. So they could get to know about new words from there. Where else do they find new words? They can really listen to their own friends, and maybe by participating in academic discussions, they can definitely get to know more about how to make use of these new words. Apart from all this, I think there is also a possibility for learners to consult the dictionary regularly, which is quite missing these days. Many of these students do not really consult dictionaries at all. They look for ready-made meaning. They look for one meaning. And some of them really, consult bilingual dictionaries. It's all right to consult a bilingual dictionary if you're at the A1 level or the A2 level. When you go for a C1 level exam, what you need to do, or a C2 level exam, what you have to really keep in mind is you need to really understand multiple layers of meanings. And when you understand multiple layers of meanings, you really get to know how to use those meanings in real life. You can get to know collocations of those words, and maybe you can also check the kind of examples that they have given. You may write down those examples. And most of the time, students find it quite interesting to make use of those new words that they have learned, to learn to use those words. And the teachers have a great responsibility to contextualize those words, and they can always discuss, meanings of such words which they don't really understand. And they find it difficult to pronounce, they can seek the spot of the teacher to pronounce it exactly. And on some occasions, There are foreign words which even students find it very tough to learn. For example, if it's a French word or a German word or a Latin word or an Italian word or a Portuguese word or a Sanskrit word, etc. Then you can get to know from a relevant expert. You have to really talk to a particular language expert to know about it, because there are a large number of foreign words in English for which you need to really consult a dictionary of foreign words. And I've been consulting some of these dictionaries directly and, of course, through online as well. Nowadays, talking dictionaries play a vital role. So, my suggestion for teachers when they teach students to learn new words is to make sure that they could use electronic dictionaries, online thesauruses. You have online dictionaries of illustration, etc., that they can really make use of. And it is easier for all of us to have a vocabulary notebook, and we can update new vocab every day. So that's going to change the way we pick up language. And once in a while, we'll have to really go through those words, maybe during the weekends or whenever we are free. We'll read those words casually. Remember or recall the meanings of those words, and if possible, write a few examples on your own. This is a very, very traditional way of learning, but there are other ways of learning it. For example, you can listen to varieties of contexts in which these words are used. For example, thematic vocabulary building is an activity which I always advocate. Whenever I play a video in the classroom, for example, I list out the vocabulary used by the particular speaker. And I'll also identify the audience who is listening to this. And I request the audience to be aware of the theme. And the thematic vocabulary, it gets enhanced once you list out those words and check the pronunciation of those words, jot them down on your board, and also tell them where the stress is. And you also teach them the examples, collocations, etc., phrases or idioms, etc. Make a list of all these, and you can also give them relevant words, related words. So thesaurus is also going to help them increase their range of vocabulary. They will have an extensive range of vocabulary, so that it will be easier for them to improve upon their language learning process, their fluency development. Apart from that, their interactions would get better. And with all these, I would say learning a language becomes quite easier, and it could be convenient for the teacher to interact with the teachers and with the learners quite often to understand various other techniques that others use. I would always say you can have wall magazines in your classrooms wherein you can try to present humorous, tidbits. You can possibly a joke a day could be a particular activity that I encourage, where you can come up with a joke related to a word. Maybe you can ask somebody to create a poster with illustrations. You can ask the students to read it whenever they are free. And you can have quotes. You can have short stories. It could be very, very short stories or anecdotes, example. Or you can even have cartoons. And there are occasions where I always ask my students to come up with cartoons so they can teach a specific meaning so easily with a humorous tidbit. Or they can write a few dialects with the help of these cartoons, and they can demonstrate what the meaning is. In a way, it gives them some sort of a creative analysis that they have to do to draw the characters there and write dialects and make use of the words, etc. So make the class quite interesting for them to analyze, understand, reflect, get to know. And the vocabulary building becomes easier. Meanwhile, you should also teach them the sounds. Speech sounds play a vital role. I make sure each of my students learns the exact pronunciation, stress patterns, and intonation patterns, and variations of American English, Australian English, Canadian English, and British English, apart from New Zealandian English and South African English and other non-native varieties of English. And I'm sure this video is highly helpful for all of you. If you think you need to interact with me, you're free to interact or can get to know more about it. Wish you all success. Have a great day. Enjoy your learning. Bye bye. See you.